Janet, would you like to go or should I go?
Yes, I would.
All right.
I would.
Would you like a time
Oh,
prompt or are you
first,
okay with that?
yeah, you can give me a reminder.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about impermanence, which I think has something to do with what everybody was talking about. And I do have a worry about all these people, Musk and everyone having control of the mobs. And this is like something that creates fear in people if they're discerning. And if people cling to that fear, then we have trouble, like the January 6th incident, those folks that went into the Capitol and everything. But we do have free speech, but people suffer from some free speech because it's not all true. And how do you know what's true or not? So you really have to like examine things that are happening outside yourself and things that are happening within yourself, and really come down to yourself, your core, and know that that's the one true thing for now that we know. And because things change all the time, the Enron situation with the big corporation, I'm waiting for something to happen with Amazon. It is much too big of a giant, and it can't possibly continue in that way without having some split offs. And we've seen that a lot. The companies, they get so big they can't handle themselves. They split off, and then those little corporations, they either survive or they get taken over, and the beat goes on. And but impermanence is the thread that goes into all this. And while there's success, people don't think about that. They're not attached to things turning negative, which could happen. Thich Nhat Hanh said, impermanence doesn't necessarily lead to suffering. What makes us suffer is wanting things to be permanent when they are not. And this goes across many areas in our life. Corporations can't exist in relationships. Like my marriage didn't last. It made me suffer because I thought it would be permanent. When I was young, I had this ideal about being forever married, and that just was not permanent. And so I suffered. My whole family suffered. But, even in nature, I love nature. I loved your talk about all the trees and everything. But they have an impermanence to them too. When they die and decay, struck by lightning, taken for wood, for furniture or whatever. Conditions outside of ourselves happen, and we just can't, we're little, we can't do anything about all these huge conditions that change our lives, that we are so certain are wonderful, and we want it to last forever, but things just don't. And I read somewhere that we feel secure when things stay exactly as they are. But I'm not feeling really secure these days about things in our society that provide a security to me. What I do enjoy is our Sangha and our Dharma teachings. And I know that that is a secure place for me where I feel safe. And also Thich Nhat Hanh said that impermanence is the only thing that's certain in life. And I wanted to tell you that recently a friend of mine moved, and I gave her some hours of help moving and unpacking. And when we were unpacking her boxes with the kitchen items, she didn't know where she wanted the items to go. So she was like frozen. And so I picked a place to put her pots and stuff. And then she was getting all tense. And she said, "You could put it there for now. For now is fine." And then I put cans in another pantry like. And she said, "Well, that's good for now, but I don't know if I always want it there." And then as the day went on, that was the mantra, "for now." And I look at that as being part of impermanence, that, we can look at something now and think it's always going to last. And it could change. But for now, this is the way it is. And so I kind of like that mantra. And then because of this impermanence, we have to wake up every morning and think about the gratitude we have for things that are in our life now, because they are subject to change. Outside conditions can change things. So gratitude enters this picture too of uncertainty and impermanence. And I like to always think now of my new mantra, "for now." Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Janet. It's a good reminder. The for now, because actually, now is all there is. I'm reminded when you're talking about that, just the fleetingness of stuff and the recognition of that is in itself beautiful. I think aging for me has has quickened things. That this the end is coming, and I don't know, that changes things. The other thing I wanted to mention is the artist Andy Goldsworthy. I don't know if anybody's familiar with him, but he's a Scottish artist, and his big thing is like ephemeral art. He does things with ice. He builds sculptures out of ice, or things that generally don't last. And because of that, they are especially beautiful. So it's anyway, it's a valuable reminder. Thank you.
Heather bowing in. Janet, I just want to comment on the nature of your talk, I guess, rather than the subject matter. I just want to say that you have this amazing gift for taking little gems of daily life. First of all, recognizing little events of daily life as the gems that they are, and then translating them from the individual to the universal, which is the principle that we've been talking about through many of these talks. And it's such a gift. And that example of setting up the kitchen is just beautiful and a real treasure to take away. So I'm so grateful for your style of teaching. It speaks to me so directly. So I just want to express my gratitude for that.
Thank you.
John Bang, this remind me of the conversation we had at our temple during lunch. So the guy talked to me, asking about experiences during meditation. He mentioned that there's I think a famous Buddha's quote is that past already gone, future never comes. So and what we consider now, immediately it becomes past. So I told him, well, when you are meditating, your mind and body sing together in one place and time, then you are in the now. You are in the now, and the now like expanding. You don't see past, you don't see future. All you see is now. So I said, oh, got it. Stop hanging out.
Jeff bowing in. So Janet, I agree with Heather that it was just, what you did was kind of a beautiful observation from a daily life, and you were, mindful and noticed that, and that's a lesson for all of us in our daily lives, that if we are aware, a situation that otherwise might be work, or maybe even a little frustrating, you could have interpreted that, well, she was kind of second guessing me, say, okay, for now, but that you could have taken that as a criticism, but instead you were able to pull a very good lesson from it, and in a way to remind yourself to be even more in the moment. And it's a good reminder for all of us to to be in the present moment, because that's where life is. If you are focused on other things, the past or the future, then you miss the now, and you're missing that moment of life. So glad to be here and experiencing this moment with everyone.
Glad you are here.
Michelle bowing in just really quickly, and I know you're hitting time limit on this one. I just want to thank you for your style, because always I agree with Heather. Your style just kind of turns things on very rapidly in my brain, which I really appreciate. I wanted to give you all just a very quick example too of another lesson learned from the setting up of the kitchen, because it sounds like, Janet, you and I were probably doing the same thing this past week. My daughter moved into her first apartment, and same thing, sitting in the kitchen, there's boxes, and I said, whatever you need help with, just tell me. And I just waited, and she goes, I don't know where to put any of this stuff. And her boyfriend says, well, why don't you just put it like how your mom has it in her kitchen, because that seems to work. And she quickly turned around and said, well, maybe just for starters, but we are not the same person, and our kitchens are different. So we're related, but we're not the same. And I was like, wow. I'm like, that's that whole, we are connected, but we're also not one, we're not an individual, but we're not, you know what I mean? There's all these different things that hit us, but it was the kitchen. It was the same thing. I think that's the focal point of the, the home Dharma is the kitchen. So thank you. Which made me think of that.
I think it's time for us to move on. Thank you, Janet.